Okay, so hi everyone. Just to make sure maybe so we know that you can hear us properly, can you just maybe some of you pop in the Q&A or in the chat that you can hear us properly? I can see that we have quite a few participants here today. So if some of you can just say that you can hear us properly, then we are just about to go. Perfect. I can hear you, Miss. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Marta, for that. Perfect. That's fine. That's all we want to know, that you can hear us and you can see some of us also as well. All right. Okay. It's 3 o'clock. We have about 10 attendees in the room, which is fine. It's brilliant. Absolutely. So thank you all for joining today. All right. Okay. So we have our live talk on support for disabled students at Middlesex University. Of course, it's those who have a disability and or a learning difficulty. So our presenter today is Irina Staniva, and she is from the North London Regional Access Centre.
Hello, everybody.
That's Irina. So just a few housekeeping rules. If you can just keep your microphone unmuted during the presentation, that would be great. You can ask questions via the chat or the Q&A button. Okay, so you've seen that already. Okay, so if you wanted to ask a private question, please send these via the chat window only. And for any questions asked via the Q&A, these will be seen by everybody and will be answered kind of publicly as well. So Irina will be taking questions right at the end of the presentation, and she will take your questions and answer them then. Okay, so please note that this session is recorded as well. So thank you, and I will now pass over to Irina, who will start the presentation. So over to you, Irina.
Thank you, Z. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the webinar. Starting university can be very exciting, but many students may feel anxious of what's ahead and may worry whether they will be able to cope with their studies and life at university. Today, we're going to look at what support disabled students can expect while in higher education, and more specifically, if they study at Middlesex University. There are two main ways a disabled student can get support for their studies, and it is important to take advantage of both support packages so that you can make the best of your time at university. Firstly, Middlesex provides a range of support services, for example, exam concessions and other reasonable adjustments. The second package to make yourself aware of is the support provided by the government, which is called Disabled Students Allowances, or DSA for short. So let's have a look at both these packages separately. The first one, by the university. Disability advisors at Middlesex can provide confidential one-to-one appointments to discuss the support you might need, and we will ensure that relevant information is communicated to staff who need to know, with your permission, of course. For instance, if a student needs special considerations for their exams, the disability advisors will recommend these to the examinations team. Other examples include the provision of ergonomic equipment for the lectures and seminars that you attend, or extended library loans for your books and textbooks. The Disability and Dyslexia Service at Middlesex University is based in Sunny Hill House, along with the Counselling and Mental Health Service. However, as the campus is now closed, our services are available online, by phone, or email. The Counselling and Mental Health Service provides specialist support, advice and guidance for anyone struggling with their mental health or well-being. Our mental health advisors work with students who have a mental health diagnosis, including liaison and referral to external agencies. Our counsellors offer therapeutic work, both on a one-to-one and group basis, and also offer faculties a number of workshops on different topics that may be relevant to the student's cohort. All sessions are confidential. There's also the opportunity for students to maintain their health and well-being and gain support through other ways, including online support through the Big White Wall, the Fika app, but also canine assistant drop-in and autism drop-in. We have close links with other local drug and alcohol services who will come on site to support our students if appropriate. These services are based in Sunny Hill House, a small bungalow building on campus. However, as the campus is now closed, our services are available online, by phone or email. And here you can see their contact details. So all you need to do is simply email or phone these numbers and email addresses to request an appointment. For counselling, you can self-refer online. Just look up the UniHub internet page once you start studying at Middlesex University. And now, let's have a look at the support by the government, the Disabled Students Allowances, or DSA for short. The DSA is a grant to help eligible students in higher education access learning. The DSA is in the form of support services, not financial help. And as the DSA is a grant, you don't have to pay it back, which is good news. To be eligible, you need to be considered a home UK student. Unfortunately, international and EU students are not eligible for the DSA. Also, you have to have a disability, a long-term medical condition, a specific learning difference, or a mental health difficulty. For example, all of these conditions, along with many others, may make you eligible for the DSA grant. These conditions fall into several groups: specific learning differences such as dyslexia, dyspraxia, ADHD, dyscalculia, and dysgraphia. Mental health difficulties like depression, anxiety, and OCD. Invisible disabilities, for example, diabetes, sickle cell, lupus, epilepsy. But also visual and hearing impairments, as well as mobility disabilities like arthritis. In summary, the DSA grant would be considered for any condition that has a substantial, long-term and adverse effect on the student's ability to carry out normal day-to-day activities. And long-term means you will have had the condition for more than 12 months. If you're not sure how to apply or would like some advice, you can contact us at the Access Centre, or you can contact the disability team, or you can look up DSA on Middlesex University's website. At North London Regional Access Centre, or the Access Centre, we carry out DSA study needs assessments to ensure students receive the right support for them. We also provide advice and guidance on your individual DSA support package. Now, let's have a look at 3 example DSA support packages designed for individual students by our experienced needs assessors. These examples are from our video, which you can watch in full after the webinar. So this is Patrick. He has dyslexia and back pain, and this is what his support package looks like. One-to-one study skills support with a dyslexia specialist tutor, assistive software that turns speech into text for his essays, mind mapping software to help him plan his course assignments, a reading pen that will scan text and read it out loud to him, a standard laptop, a combined printer and scanner, and IT training to help him make the most of the assistive software. And this is Khalida. This is what her support package looks like. Khalida has anxiety. So she will receive one-to-one support with a specialist mentor to help her with exam anxiety. Taxi to university when her anxiety makes traveling difficult for her. Assistive software that reads out text loud so she can understand better, and assistive software to help her with her organization. And the last student is John, who has sickle cell and arthritis. And this is what his support package looks like. An adjustable desk and chair for him to study at home, an ergonomic keyboard and mouse, note-taking software and a digital recorder to help him with his note-taking, speech-to-text software to help him with his assignments, a standard laptop and specialist IT training, as well as taxis to university when he feels too unwell to travel. To recap, the DSA can help with one-to-one support by a specialist study skills tutor or mentor, but also it can assist with in-class one-to-one support for students with hearing and visual difficulties. DSA can help you with travel to and from university when you're feeling unwell. The grant can also help with special ergonomic equipment and furniture for studying at home. It also pays for assistive technology. For instance, if you have reading difficulties associated with dyslexia, we can recommend a software package which reads from the computer. Another piece of software can type your assignments if you dictate them into the computer. Of course, these are just examples. There's a wide range of assistive technology that we can recommend for you, depending on your individual needs. So remember, your DSA package will be as unique as you. And now let's have a look at the DSA process. First, you need to collect the evidence that you have a disability, a learning difference, or another long-term condition. This evidence may be a letter from your GP or from another medical professional. Then you need to apply for DSA. If you're applying for your course fees online, why not apply at the same time for the DSA? And if you need help, contact your disability advisor or contact us at the Access Centre and we will be happy to advise you. Once you have applied and submitted your evidence, the DSA team at your funding body will send you a letter or will email you. If you're approved for the DSA grant, the letter will advise you to book a study needs assessment at a registered centre. You can book with any centre, and if you want to book with us, our contact details are at the end of this presentation. Your confidential study needs assessment meeting will be with an experienced assessor. Don't worry, this is not going to be a test. It is only a conversation between you and your assessor, who will ask you questions about the difficulties you have when you study. And as I said, the conversation will be rather informal, so there's absolutely no need to worry. In the session, the assessor will show you different assistive technologies, equipment, and study strategies that might be of help to you. Together with the assessor, you will agree on a recommendations list for support that will go into your study needs assessment report. After the assessment meeting, your assessor will write a confidential report detailing all the difficulties that you have and support recommendations discussed in your meeting. We will send you a copy of the report and we will submit another copy to the funding body for their consideration. Once the recommendations are approved by the DSA team at your funding body, you will receive a DSA award letter which lists the support that the DSA will pay for. Please read this letter and contact all the support suppliers listed in it. If you're not sure what to do at this stage, you can contact your disability advisor or you can contact your assessment centre, and if you are assessed by us, we are available to help you any working day 9 to 5. Please remember, the responsibility to apply for DSA is yours. So don't wait. The process may take 3 months from application to support. You can start your DSA application as soon as you apply for your course fees. So please don't wait, do it as soon as possible. What you need to think about now is whether you might be eligible for DSA. Do you have a long-term condition that impacts negatively on your day-to-day activities and studying, for example? Do you need to obtain medical evidence if you haven't got it yet? If so, do you need to book an appointment with your GP? Or do you need to talk to the disability team first? And if you have the evidence, why not apply at the same time as for your course fees? If during your time at university you find that you have another condition, you can submit evidence for that at a later date. So don't worry, apply for the condition or conditions you have evidence for, and later you can submit more letters, and then we can have a look and adjust your support. So don't worry about that. Our assessment centre, North London Regional Access Centre, is based on campus in Shepherd Library. It is very easy to find us. We also have outreach centres across London. You are welcome to visit us when the campus reopens, of course, but now you can contact us by phone or email. We will be happy to hear from you and we'll be pleased to answer any DSA questions you have. We can even carry out your DSA study needs assessment via video link so that you have everything in place for your start in September. And if you would like to speak with a disability or mental health advisor, you can find them in Sunny Hill House. As I said, due to the current lockdown, all our services are available remotely. Just email us or contact us by phone and we will be happy to assist you. So, looking forward to hearing from you. Now, this is the end of our presentation. Thank you for joining us today. Here, you can see some useful web links and our contact details. And now, you can ask us questions.
Thank you, Irina. If anybody has a question, you can either pop it in the Q&A chat box or Q&A or in the chat box. So we are ready to see some questions now, or if you wanted to just unmute yourself and ask the question, you can do that as well. So we're just waiting to get some questions that Irina can answer for us. Irina, do you want to pop? So there's a question in the Q&A section, Irina, if you want to have a look at it.
Yes, it says what kind of support services you give to the students. It depends on what kind of condition the student has, what their needs are. It might be one-to-one support, it may be extra time for their exam, it may be equipment, it may be some type of software, reading software. It can be, as I said, travel, all of the support services that I mentioned. So what we will do, it's because there are two support packages, the support package that the university is responsible for. So the disability advisor will talk to you what kind of needs you have, and they can also help you with the application for DSA. And then the DSA package, which is the one where you can get the one-to-one support and the equipment and the software and potentially the travel to and from university if your condition prevents you from using public transport and walking long distances. So I hope I've answered this question in full, but of course you can ask me specific questions. You can either email us directly if you have something specific to ask. We'll be more than happy to help you. You can give me a call as well. Our number is on the screen. There is a question about whether it's possible to get a copy of the PowerPoint, of course, and of course with all the notes, we can email this over to you. Another question is about if you already have DSA, because some students may have done a course in the past and they have DSA, what they need to do is to the end of their course, they don't need to reapply for DSA. They can only, if they have another condition, let's say you're in your final year and you applied in year one, you already have DSA in place, but you have another condition that that you didn't know you had before, but you're finding it's impacting your studying. If you submit medical evidence for that, you don't need to apply. If you submit medical evidence for that, we can top up your support. So you need to submit it to your funding body first. If you're a part-time student, or if you are a postgraduate student, you have to apply to put in the application every year. But if you're undergraduate full-time, you apply at the beginning and then you don't have to apply again. Of course, if you sign up for another course, if you change university, then you have to apply. But every case is very different. So it's best if you contact the assessment center or the disability team and ask them just to make sure that you're on the right track. Okay. Well, we have just one campus. There's a question whether campuses are wheelchair accessible. Middlesex University has just one campus. This is the campus in Camden, and it's of course accessible for wheelchairs. The outreach centres I was talking about across London, yes, they have to be wheelchair accessible to be registered by the funding body, and they are. They're just outreach centres for the needs assessments. Of course, at the moment, they're all closed, as is Middlesex University. But generally, yes, Middlesex University is fully wheelchair accessible. Let's have a look at the other questions. So someone asked if they need to contact the assessment center. I think it's better to contact the assessment center if you're already being supported by an assessment center. All your DSA support will go to that assessment center. You won't be able to switch assessment centers once you've started your DSA, once you had your assessment, basically. And it depends what kind of letter you need as a proof from them. I suppose I need to answer this a little bit in more detail privately. Okay, let's have a look at the other question. Someone is asking whether we have transport because students are struggling to travel. I'm not sure if Middlesex University has transport. I believe we don't, but there are a lot of buses that go to Middlesex universities, and there's a tube station not far away from the campus. I suppose we can talk a little bit more in detail with this student if they want some specific information. But Middlesex University is very easily accessible. There's a train station, there's a tube station, and there are several buses that actually stop in front of the university front door. So it's not difficult to get to Middlesex from any part of London or out of London. There's a question about SPOD or this dyscalculia test. So this is a more rather well, it's not very complicated, but for all SPOD specific learning differences that if somebody suspects they have a dyslexia or dyscalculia or another specific learning difference, but they don't have a diagnostic assessment, they need to contact the disability team because there's a process. It's more complicated. You need to apply for DSA. You need to have a diagnostic assessment report, and to get that diagnostic assessment report, you need to have the full diagnostic test. And the university, you need to have started university if you'd like the university to help you with that, because the test itself is rather expensive. It can cost up more than £300, and for students the university helps them financially to access this test. But if the student who asked these questions about dyscalculia wants to get in touch with me directly, I can send her a link. There's a link on the website that you can find the diagnostic assessor and have your test privately. Okay, so let's have a look at the next question. How you will support the students if most of the course is taught online next year? Yes, this is something that we are looking into. At the moment, all our lectures are online, all the exams, I believe, are online, and still we are supporting students. So if you receive one-to-one support, let's say you're eligible for one-to-one support, your tutor will be able to link with you via video link, either through Zoom, Skype. There are many platforms that different universities use. Obviously Middlesex uses several platforms for that. So there are considerations that we are putting in place. We have already put in place for this. And obviously every student will be different. But of course, if you are eligible for ergonomic assessment, you will get your chair at home. So you can make use of the equipment. Okay, so there's a question about the minimum attendance that is required for the student to attend the course. I'm not the best placed person to answer this question, but I believe it's quite high. You need to attend almost most lectures. I think the student who asked that question, if you can drop me an email, I can forward it to the right people to respond to you. But one thing which is quite important for everybody to know is that your DSA package is only available to you while you are a registered student. So you need to attend lectures, you need to be a registered student at your university. Don't think that, oh, I can start attending and then I'll drop out and then I'll get the support. It's not going to work like this, because the funding body will cut off the support. So you can only receive the support while you're a registered student. Okay.
Irina, I just want to make you aware also that we have quite a few questions in the chat.
Yes.
So just to make you aware that there are a few questions. But
okay. Okay. Well, there's one more.
Sharon raised their hand. I'm not too sure if Sharon at some point wants to ask a question directly.
There's a question about parking. Yes, Middlesex University has a parking lot, and there is a process where you need to send an email to wellbeing@mdx.ac.uk. If somebody can type this email address, wellbeing@mdx.ac.uk. And this will be considered. Of course, well, you need to submit your doctor's letter. Okay. There's a question about online. I believe the first term, it is possible that Middlesex University has a lot of online delivery in the first term. This is a question you need to ask the academic team. We in the disability services will not be able to give you the right answer. Let's have a look at the Q&A. Okay, I've seen the Q&A. Yes, this is the Q&A. The chat, I believe I've been looking at the chat and answering questions. Would you like me to type answers to the questions, because I've been answering live, speaking?
No, you can still answer them live. It's fine like that.
Okay, let's have a look if there's any.
There was a question about when will the campus reopen.
Okay, right. Let's have a look. Okay, yes. When will the campus reopen? We don't know yet, is the answer I can give you now. But if you check our website, there will be information that will come out when things change. But for the time being, campus is not reopening. Please don't be deterred by that. Just give us a call in the disability team and we can chat about your needs. So don't worry about that. Next question about accommodation and ground floor accommodation. Now, a lot of students may need specific arrangements for their accommodation, and this will need to be discussed with your disability advisor. So what I suggest you do, if you have a disability, a mobility difficulty that prevents you from climbing stairs, for example, and you prefer ground floor, and you need ground floor accommodation, please contact the disability team straight away, because they can assess your needs and then put you in touch with the accommodations team and make the arrangements for you. Okay, I answered the question about the dyscalculia test. Again, contact the disability team as soon as possible. There is a question about if a student doesn't have a diagnostic report, can a letter from school or college do? It has to be a diagnostic assessment, I'm afraid. At the moment, because of the lockdown, full diagnostic assessments are not possible. There is something that we are working on that can be done for you via web link like Zoom, and this will be in place pretty swiftly. Basically, today we received confirmation from the funding bodies that we can go ahead with these video assessments, and we can arrange one for you, but we can arrange it only when you start Middlesex, when you register as a student. So if you are starting as a student in September, only then we can do the video link for the diagnostic assessment. But you can see a disability advisor before that, so we can put the other things in place for you. Okay, and of course bring along the letter from your school or college, because this will help a lot in deciding what kind of support will be useful for you. So there's a student who has dyslexia and wants the nursing. What kind of help she can get and how to get the funding? So the first thing to do is contact the disabilities team, because they need to do the arrangements to put in place the arrangements for a full diagnostic assessment or video diagnostic assessment, and then you will apply. Now, I talked in the presentation, I talked about the process. So it will be first contact the disability team to obtain the diagnostic assessment. They'll guide you through that. Once you have it, apply to DSA. They can help you with that, or we can help you with the Access Centre. And then we take it from there. We can assess you in the Access Centre, because there are two types of assessments you need to do. The diagnostic, which basically tells you you have dyslexia, and we can confirm you have dyslexia, and the study needs assessment, which we do at the Access Centre, which says, okay, you have dyslexia, we can see your report for dyslexia. Now let's have a look at what kind of support we can put in place for you. And the support you can get is one-to-one with a dyslexia specialist. You can get specific software. For example, if you're finding it difficult to read off the screen or off a book, the computer can talk to you, the computer can read to you. Or if you're, some students with dyslexia say, I don't know how to start my essay, or I can tell you the answer, I can't write the answer. Speak to the computer, and the special software we are going to recommend will type it for you. How about that? This is good for anyone actually, but only disabled students who have been approved can get it for free from DSA. Okay, so we have a lot of students with dyslexia, so don't worry, the process is there. Just contact the disabilities team. DSA does not pay directly to students. It is not financial help. At the moment, the arrangement is this. You get approved for DSA. The DSA will send you for a study needs assessment. We'll make the recommendation with quotes, because we have to do the finance behind it and figure out how much your DSA will cost. Send these recommendations to the funding body, and the funding body will say, this student will have this amount of money for their support, which is usually what we recommend, but you get the services, you don't get the money. Okay, the service providers will be paid directly by the funding body. Yes, I know the test is very expensive. It costs maybe £300 or so, but don't forget I told you the university can help you. At the moment, what the university does is only asks for £72 towards the test. But to get the help for the test, for the dyslexia test, you need to first register as a Middlesex student. So what I would advise you to do, don't despair. I know it's a lot of money and it's a problem for almost every student. What you need to do first is contact the disabilities team so that they can do their bit of investigations for you. Find out what you're struggling with. Do they need to ask you specific questions before they send you for the diagnostic assessment that the university will pay for? And once you register, you can have the diagnostic assessment. The university will help financially, so don't worry about that. Okay, so let's have a look at all the questions. Okay, so we at Middlesex University, there's a question from a student, from a mature student. At Middlesex University, we have a lot of mature students. Actually, a very high proportion of our students are mature students. And what we've discovered with mature students is they may not even know that they've had a disability, for example, dyslexia, all through their life. You shouldn't worry about that. You should just talk to the disabilities team and they'll give you the right support, the right advice, how to go about obtaining a diagnostic if you need it, and of course with the help from the university. If you have any medical letters, for example, if you have another condition, maybe some students have diabetes, sickle cell, or a condition that requires a carer, talk to the disabilities team. They deal with cases like yours on a daily basis. So they would be the best people to advise you how to go about receiving the support. Okay, let's have a look.
We have a few questions again in the Q&A one, if you can have a look at them.
I'm looking at the chat. Let's have a look at the Q&A. Yes, okay. So, lectures, whether they're being recorded. Now, I can tell you a secret. Some universities record all the lectures. Middlesex doesn't. But if you are a disabled student and you have been approved for DSA, you will receive a special software on your computer that can record for you. So you get your presentations, your lectures, slides in advance, and then you get a microphone to attach to your computer. And then as the lecturer speaks, it will record on your computer. So a lot of students get that software actually and record on their own computer. And also, good thing about that is there's another software that links with the recording software, and it can turn the lecturer's words into text for you magically. So you can read it. You can listen to it and you can read it. So there's a question from another student. Yes, a lot of students struggle with their processing difficulties. This is another of the things that you see with dyslexia, students with dyslexia. They may struggle processing and learning, and their speed of learning is slower. So don't worry, as long as you have been assessed as having a disability, which might be a learning difficulty, dyslexia, for example, specific learning difficulty, you will get the support. And of course, what some dyslexia students will receive, which I didn't mention in the presentation, is not only extra time for exams, but they'll receive something called LSF form, or learner support form, that the disability advisor will write with you when they speak with you. And with this learning support form, the disability advisor may recommend that lecturers mark your work in a different way. So if a student has dyslexia, the lecturer will know, oh, this student is struggling because of their specific learning difficulty. I shouldn't downgrade them because of their disability. Okay, and this sheet of paper, which is your report learner support form written by your disability advisor, will go to your lecturers, and they will be aware of that, and they'll know this student needs a little bit extra time to process the information. Maybe they need more time to listen to the question, maybe to hear the question twice. So these are the reasonable adjustments that the university will put in place for you. The recording software, there are different types of softwares that, that can record. The ones that we work with, there's a Sonosent software, actually, it's called Sonosent, and the other one is Audio Note Talker. So if you Google them, you can actually download a 30-day free trial. But these are commercial softwares. We're not really able to recommend them in an open forum, so to speak, because they do different things. We need to see the student first and decide, okay, this is the right software for them. Okay, so are there any more questions? Yes, I can see another one. Whether you need to pay for the DSA assessment. No, you don't need to pay for the DSA assessment. Now, the DSA assessment costs money. It's quite an expensive one, but the funding body will pay for it. So don't worry about it. Once you are approved for DSA, the assessment center will invoice your funding body directly, so you don't have to pay. But we are legally required to publish our fees for the DSA assessment. So if you look at our website, it will tell you that, for example, we charge £660 for the DSA assessment. We don't charge you directly, you don't pay, your funding body will pay from the DSA allowance. Other centers charge different fees. This will not impact on the quality of your assessment, because all assessment centers have to abide by a quality assurance framework, and otherwise we won't be able to basically operate. Okay, I think I've answered. Oh, there's another question. Okay, so if a student has a disability that affects their hands, for example, maybe you can't type, maybe you can't carry heavy things. Again, we need the medical evidence for that, and you need to have had this disability for more than 12 months. For example, if somebody breaks their arm, they will not be considered disabled student because the arm will heal. But if this is a persistent condition for more than 12 months, remember, and you have doctor's letter to prove that, then the disability advisor will talk to you individually and see what kind of things they can put in place for you. I can tell you what the DSA will put in place for you. A lot of software, so you don't have to type, ergonomic equipment. For example, there are some handles on your chair that you can lean your arm on, and as I said, the software that can actually record everything you say, so you don't have to type. So these are the kind of things. Of course, I can't promise you that this is exactly what you're going to get, because we haven't seen you, haven't assessed you. Once we assess you, we'll get the right support for you. These are just examples. And one student, remember, one student might have more than one condition. So for every condition, there are different things we can recommend. And of course, the cost might be different. So this will impact on the condition, on the support that we can recommend. Okay, I don't think there are any other questions. Have I missed a question?
I think you've got one in the chat function from someone who says they're going to be a nursing student, but their college thinks that they might have dyscalculia.
Yes,
they don't have a letter yet. how do they get the assessment?
You don't need a letter. You don't need a letter. If you have a letter from your college or school, it will be helpful to bring it along. What the DSA will need, the funding body for your DSA will need, is the full diagnostic assessment. Now, if you think you have dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia, or dyspraxia, if you think you have it, number one, contact the disability team at Middlesex University. The disability team will carry out an assessment, which is just a conversation, just a meeting with you to see what kind of things you're struggling with. They'll ask you a set of questions, and if they think that, yes, you're likely to be dyslexic, let's go for the full assessment, which is quite costly. They will advise you to pay the £72 once you register as a student at Middlesex University. And then they will tell you how the assessor will contact you to carry out the full assessment. I hope I've answered this question. Is there another question?
Last one in the Q&A.
In the Q&A. Okay, so a student is asking, when will the assessment take place and how, please? If it's the study needs assessment, it depends. So if it's the study needs assessment and you already have the medical evidence, what you need to do is apply to your funding body. The funding body will send you a letter. And in this letter, they'll tell you, find a registered assessment center. They'll send you the information how to find it. You can go to any assessment center. Doesn't have to be us. But if you want to come to us, just give us a call and we'll book an appointment for you. At the moment, we have to carry all the assessments online. For example, today we have, I believe, 5 or 6 online assessments. That the assessors are working from home and they're doing the assessment via video call like this. And then they'll write the report and your funding body will approve the recommendations and send you a letter to confirm that you can have the report, the recommendations listed in your report. Okay, let's have a look if there's anything else.
I think we've answered all questions.
I believe so. Don't forget, email us. Our email address is, you can see it on the screen, adminac@mdx.ac.uk. My name is Irina. I'm the Access Centre Manager. So you can ask just for me. If one of my colleagues answers the phone, just say, I want to speak to Irina, and I will talk to you. We're open Monday to Friday, every working day, apart from bank holidays, of course. Next Monday is bank holiday. So we're open 9 to 5 every day, every working day, and we are happy to hear from you. We really want to hear from you because we understand that it's very important to have everything as soon as possible. There's so much going on at the beginning of your university journey. You get so much information, and what we can see is the students don't get enough time to actually get and sort out their support through DSA. That's why we always advise students, please do it over the summer. Do it before you start in September. Of course, if you need the full diagnostic for dyslexia, you may have to wait for that, unless you can pay, of course. But if you have another medical condition, you can apply right now. Just go and ask your GP for a letter. In fact, I can email you a form that you can use. It's a very straightforward form that you can take to your GP or email it to your GP for them to complete what condition you have. And then you can send that form to Student Finance. For example, if somebody has a problem with their hand, they've had it for more than 12 months and their GP knows about it, the GP can say that, yes, this student has this problem and it's a long-term condition. You can send you can send the form, the completed form, to the DSA team at your funding body, and then you will be made eligible for DSA if, of course, the DSA team accepts this form the way it's been written by the GP. But usually they do. If they don't, they'll tell you what you need to do. So don't worry, we are there to help you. And so is the funding body. They don't want you not to get the support. We want you to get the support. It's really important because you've got a lot on in the next 2-3 years, depending how long your course is. You don't need the extra stress of organizing things all at the same time. Do yourself a favor. Do a little bit beforehand, before September. Sort out your DSA. Yes, I can email you the medical evidence form. In fact, I don't know, Z, can we attach it here in this chat as a document?
Should be able to, yes.
Let's see, because I've got the form available. Let me just have a look if I can attach it.
Sophie, do we know if you can make an attachment?
You can, but it may not work on a webinar. I think you can for a meeting. Worst case scenario, we're sending this out to all participants tomorrow, so we can also send that form as well if you want.
Yeah.
Let me just show you the form. I'll show you the form. Can you see it? Can you see this?
Yes, we can.
It's a PDF form. This is what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's only 4 pages. First page, all you need to do is enter your details.
Absolutely.
Okay. But remember, you need to have applied to student finance for your course fees. So you enter your details. Here you need to enter your customer reference number, your details. And then you take it to your GP and they need to put their name, job title, and fill in all that with their address and stamp it. And then the 3rd page is about your condition. It's very straightforward. Okay? And that's it. Page 4, section 4 is for them to sign. Page 4 is just information how to send it. And this is the email address to send it. Of course, if you're a Student Finance England student, if you're not Student Finance England, there might be a different form. But we can help you with that. So this is the one that most students use. Okay? And we can send you a copy. It is available online, by the way. If you Google DSA SFE medical evidence form, you should be able to get a copy of it. This is where we took it from.
I think, as we said, tomorrow when we'll be sending this presentation to everybody who attended today, we will attach this form as well, because a few people have asked for the form to be sent to them.
Of course. Yes, certainly.
I think we've answered all questions.
Fantastic.
And I hope this was a useful session for attendees today. And we just have a last slide on here, which is just about really some more upcoming webinars that we have from next week until really mid-July, I believe so. There are quite a lot of interesting stuff in there. And as I said, you will have it as part of your presentation tomorrow. And if you feel any other ones could be relevant to you, please just book onto them. And we hope to have you again as part of our webinars in the future. So thank you all for, we have a few more things happening in the chat. That's Sophie sending something. Oh, there was a last question here. Was somebody who says she has a memory problems. And what support can the university put in place for her?
Well, it depends. It depends how they're affecting students, how memory problems are affecting students studying. So, for example, there's software called Braining Hand, which can do triggers, and if somebody's feeling stressed, for example, Braining Hand can help with that. There's software that, of course, the recording software will be very helpful because you don't have to worry about whether you've processed everything, whether you've memorized everything in the lecture. What else? There are different types of software, mostly, really. But again, your assessor will have a look at exactly what you're struggling with, and will recommend the best way forward.
Okay, so I think as a follow-up, if anybody has any more questions, maybe directly for Irina, there is a contact details onto this presentation, which you should get by latest tomorrow. It's adminac, right, at mdx.ac.uk. Again, it is on the presentation. Please feel free to get in touch.
It's this slide. It's this slide. Can you see? Can you see?
Yes, we can see it. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So feel free to get in touch with Irina directly if you have any more specific questions. And from there, she will be able to direct you to the, organization or whatever that you need to be in touch with as your next step. And I'm sure she will be very helpful in kind of really guiding you along this process along the way.
Yeah.
So thank you all for attending. It's been a really insightful session. Thank you a lot, Irina, and thank you all, guys.
Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of this sunny day. I hope to see you soon. I hear from you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.